Greetings, WordPressers. In today's show, it's a short one, all about shortcuts. Jakson here, welcome to the channel. This is, as you might know, my place on the interwebs for all things WordPress. Tips, tricks, tutorials, philosophies, all that sort of stuff. Now, I haven't been making too many vids in recent times, and so I thought I'd do a little cheeky series of quick stuff, shortens stuff, you know, to help me get back into the groove of vid making, get me nicely lubed up for some more longer projects up and coming. More of that later on. But in today's quick tip short tutorial, this is all about shortcuts, specifically hotkeys, keyboard shortcuts for Elementor and Elementor Pro. Some really good stuff here. Some stuff you might know about. Some may help you do stuff a little bit quicker, some improvements to your workflow. But some of them you may not even know about. Anyway, on with today's show, the quick tips for shortcuts and hotkeys for Elementor. Okie dokie, let's crack on with some Elementor shortcuts. Right, we've got a page here built with Elementor. We've got all our different sections and all the rest of it and all that. Let us start off with our very first shortcut. In actual fact, the shortcut for the shortcuts info panel, and it's that's Command or Control if you're on a PC, question mark. And there we do indeed have a keyboard shortcut pop-up telling us all the shortcuts. Now, you might be a little bit familiar with some of them on the left-hand side and indeed some of them on the right-hand side. It's split into two sections, actions and go-to. The go-to ones are the real, for me, absolute killer shortcuts for workflow and speed of workflow, that kind of thing. But you might be familiar with some of the actions on the left-hand side here: undo, redo, copy, paste, all that sort of stuff. Very OS-centric shortcuts. And you might have seen those also when you right-click on elements and you'll get the shortcut keys in the actual pop-up contextual menu. So we've got the usual stuff: undo, redo, copy, paste style, absolute killer if you're not familiar with that. If you've got a few similar elements on your page and you've edited one of them because you just needed to be done, and you've got three other elements the same, then just use copy and then use paste style to quickly get those new styles on those same element types. Super time saver there. Delete, yeah, pretty self-explanatory, although if you're on a smaller Mac keyboard, you don't have a delete key. Thanks, Apple. But here's a side order of quick tips for you. If you're on a short Mac keyboard, use the function and the back button, and that's actually a Mac shortcut for delete, for the delete button. You can have that one on me. Duplicate, save. Okay, save, to be fair, it's not that reliable. Always click that green update button if you want to be sure you're saving your work as you go. Right, so that's all the sort of pretty sort of familiar ones on the left, the actions, apart from paste style, which is specific to Elementor. But here on the right hand side, these are the killer ones for me. Finder. Right, if you don't know what Finder is, you are missing a trick. If you use Command or Control E, you get like a sort of Google search box that comes up. Now, this isn't actually that useful for editing pages, but if you want to navigate your admin, this is a real time saver. You can get to pages and also straight to the dashboard, click it and away you go. You know, various pages and WordPress admin sections as well. So really cool stuff, things like customizer. It's a real time saver. I absolutely love that feature. But let's get back to the stuff that's going to help you really speed up your workflows with editing. So we go back to our shortcut menu. So show hide panel. Now this, my dear friends, is this little fella here, which when clicked will show and hide. So you get more of a feel of what the page is going to look like without the clutter of the Elementor editor window all hanging around and getting in the way and all that sort of stuff. So Control or Command P, and that just toggles it in and out, which I think is absolutely genius. Now, the next one we're going to show you, let's get back to our shortcut pop-up, is responsive mode. Now, this combined with hide panel, these are the two killer shortcuts for me when you're editing. Now, I used to be a pretty big advocate of viewing the front end of your website in a different browser. I use Firefox. I mean, it's brilliant for CSS inspections and all that sort of stuff, but that's another story. So you make an edit, save it, go to the front end, refresh, and take a look at how it looks. Now, there is a need for that. We definitely need to check our work on other browsers, but Elementor is so good at displaying what you see is literally what you get in the editor. I've actually reverted to the most part, 90% of the time, only reviewing the edits and the changes within the editor itself, but using the hide panel and responsive mode. Let me show you what I mean. So if we go into responsive mode, the shortcut is Control-Shift-M, Command-Shift-M, and we can toggle through all the different sizes of devices, which is very cool. Can't do that on Firefox. Come on, Firefox. And what's also great about that is if we're actually highlighting an actual item, is that when we go into responsive device mode, it'll actually scroll to that item, so you can always check your work. Really, really time saving for getting those responsive tweaks. Uber crispy. Now, if you combine that with the panel removing, then you really are rocking it on the responsive side of things, and your workflow is just gonna get turbocharged. I still advise going to different browsers and reviewing everything in the front end once you're done, so you can make those final tweaks and just double check everything is sweet as a nut in those areas. Okay, let's get back to our panel open and our shortcut menus up. So those two, fantastic. Yep, history, very good. Control-Shift-H, Command-Shift-H. If you want to quickly get back to something you were doing. Navigator. Now, we did Navigator. Now, if you don't know about Navigator, you are missing a trick and a half. So if this little icon here pulls up the Navigator, but unfortunately, Control-Shift-I doesn't do that, especially in Chrome on Windows, because what that does is it opens up the inspector. But if you click the Navigator here, you can toggle it open and close, or you click anywhere, you get the option to show the navigator. Now, my preferred choice of this is actually moving it to the right and docking it just on the right-hand side there. And though this isn't a navigator tutorial, it is easily one of the finest features of this editor. You can quickly navigate to different sections and all the rest of it. You can close them up, and it will scroll down to where you want to go. Now, here's an Uber tip. I bet you it's in the documentation, but I only found this out a few months ago. If you click on that top section here, which is the hero, if you double click inside there, you can actually name the sections. Hero. Strapline. How cool is that? That is so wicked for organizing and getting to parts that you need to get to. You can even get inside and actually name the actual inner parts as well, which is super cool. I've been absolutely caning that these last few months since finally realizing it was possible. Okay, so that is our navigator. Now there is no shortcut on Chrome and Windows for that, because it just opens up your inspector. But never mind, let's get back to our keyboard shortcuts. Template library, yeah, pretty cool if you want to get that open and have a quick review of that. And of course the keyboard shortcuts, which we know about. Quit is essentially gets you to this, escape. Escape basically takes you to the exit to dashboard pane and with the global stars and that sort of thing, and you can exit that way. And that is kind of it, ladies and gentlemen. Keyboard shortcuts for Elementor and Elementor Pro, just like that. So there you have the hotkey shortcuts, keyboard shortcut stuff for Elementor Pro. Let me know if there's anything I missed, if you want to put some comments in below, the usual style. But until next time, I shall see you later.